So, here we go. The Oz report for March 8th, 2021, International Women's Day. We're going to start. Let's start with the bonding accelerators, shall we? So today is the last day that these are actually in the game, or at least in its non-expired state. So the bonding cerebral accelerators, they were added for the event that was just going on, and that is ending now. And that means that if you have them, get rid of them. Incredibly, they have even increased in price. And while they were already not worth it before the price increase, because they basically in their entire existence, they have been too expensive, they are now even less so. So unless you're 80 million skill points plus, you should have never used these, and you shouldn't use them now. So make sure you sell them. This is basically just a public service announcement. If you are 80 million skill points and up, by the way, then you should be considering the Master at Arms cerebral accelerators. They have dropped in price so much that now they are the best option to take if you're 80 million plus SP. If you're under, then straight up skill injectors are still better. But for those of you that are bitter vets and non-bitter vets, the Master at Arms cerebral accelerators are extremely cheap right now. You can buy them at about 90 million ISK. Speaking of events, we have probably the hunt event coming back for Easter, right? And that is a Goristas event. And if you look at the years past, there are some things that you have to consider. I'm just letting you know way before so you can prepare for this. One of the things you have to consider is that, for example, these Hiva Saitsuo ballistic control systems, especially the C3-X, it's quite popular as this is a ballistic control system that also affects drones. Very, very popular in various fits. You can see what happened last year during the event. They drop at an increased rate during that event, and that made the market crash exactly a year ago. Now, the market never really recovered, and it's not very good right now in terms of price level, but you can expect this to crash again if they keep doing this. I don't know if they are, but chances are that this event, the hunt event, will be dropping these again. Same goes for Goristas skins. They're also going to be dropping from the hunt event. And you can see that also on the graphs a year ago, these markets all crashed. And since then they've recovered. These skins aren't very good looking, and so they aren't very popular. But there's always collectors out there. And so if you're sitting on them right now, make sure you sell them. If you are... if you want to invest some money in them, buy them during the event, or if you're looking to complete your collection, then same thing. Make sure you do that. By the way, also, there's a good chance that agency boosters will be dropping again. So, you know, as an example, I have the Hardshell Dose 3, the Overclocker Dose 3, and the Pyrolancia Dose 4 here. Especially the Pyrolancia, you can very nicely see what has happened. We saw the Winter Nexus event dropping these prices. We saw the Guardians Gala event dropping these prices, but not as much because they were not the drop rates weren't as high. And since then, the prices have recovered a little bit. And now we're kind of in this middle phase. Still a good buy price on most of these because they haven't recovered. But make sure you keep a lookout for the hunt event, because that will drop the price yet again. So what you should be doing is you should be looking for the highest price you can get for these agency boosters in between the events. Dump some of them, and then buy back in once the hunt event starts. And you can do that with pretty much any event, because almost all of them drop agency boosters. Speaking of Goristas, the Gorista LP right now, this is way over farmed, it seems, and the examples for that are the ships, the Gila, the Worm, and the Rattlesnakes. The Gila is at a buy price of 165 again, which is incredibly low. It's a very popular ship. It's a good time to invest in them. The Worm, same thing, very cheap right now, buy price at 43. And even the Rattlesnake you can buy right now at 563, which is a very good price for a Rattlesnake. The crystal implants are also from Goristas LP, and these are also across the board very cheap right now. A good time to pick them up and wait for this to recover at some point. Hopefully, Fraternity farming that content isn't going to keep this down forever, but we typically see this fluctuating depending on the popularity of certain fits or buffs and nerfs that are going on in the game. Just be aware that there is a possibility that it won't recover, but I, for one, am willing to take that risk, and I'm investing on that side, so I'm letting you know. Also right now, similarly, drone parts are extremely cheap right now, so I've selected drone capillary fluid, drone transceivers, and elite drone AI as the examples for some of the largest drone part markets. They're all trading rather cheap right now, so it's a good time to jump in on those. If we're looking at RMT item or so-called RMT items like Plex, like large skill injectors and multiple pilot training certificates, these have all moved in a direction where skill farming has become much more profitable than it was a month or two ago. This is interesting, and you should know this, not because I want you to do it. I actually discourage skill farming, as you know, if you watch my stream regularly. But what you have to know is that Plex prices are dropping, large skill injectors aren't, they're increasing in price slightly, multiple pilot training certificates are dropping in price. These are prime, this is a prime condition for skill farming to be happening again for those that are in the position to skill farm. And so people will start doing that again, and that will drive the demand for these. We don't know if that's going to recover the prices significantly, but if you keep an eye on them and you're looking for a trend turnaround, then you can probably make some money there. Be aware, Plex prices are hurting, and also large skill injectors are hurting because CCP keeps selling skill points, or they keep doing events where skill points are giving out. As the more skill points are given out for free or for real cash, the less the demand is going to be for those items. So that's something to keep in mind. And that's how sales and skill point sales specifically are impacting the real economy in EVE. Speaking of real money transactions, I've been telling you that the Reign Supreme pack, right, that they're selling for about 35 euros if you're in Europe, that has actually, in value, if you look at the value of the stuff that you get, that has dropped below the money that you're paying for it. So there's no point in buying that anymore, and that is specifically because the skins that come in with it, they have dropped in price because there's an oversupply now. Of course there is, right? Because people are buying it, and so right now it's not worth it anymore. On the other hand, it's a good time to pick up some cheap skins. For example, if you look at the Arazu Inner Zone Vanguard skin, you can buy it for 24 million. This is something that that used to be at hundreds of million because it simply wasn't available in the market. So it's probably never going to be cheaper than now. Possibly, you know, next week if it drops a little bit further, depending on if people still buy that pack. But as I said, it's not really worth it. So don't expect, or basically only expect, the mathematically challenged people to be buying those packs, which unfortunately is 90% of EVE. So I take everything back I just said. Pilgrim, Oasis, Faith of Skin, another one, 24 million. Rapier, Snowline, Blade Racer, quite cheap. Those are the ones that are way below 100 million right now, and so you can you know, make some steals there and buy out some of those markets. Other than that, there's just two things I want to mention: Caldari Navy Vice Admiral insignia. I think I mentioned it on stream before. It's one of the highest, most traded insignias out there, trading below 3 million. It's a steal. This is a fluctuating market, and so now is a good time to buy that before the market will turn around. And trigger units also, they're still sub 700 and sub 700. I buy because you can sell above 800, and it's simply straight up the most profitable item I've had in the past year in my fund. All right, that's it. That's the Oz report for March 8th, and we're going to go back to the regular stream. Thank you very much.